Wala buffet too. You know, we had to start the stream off right in the revolutionary spirit, fighting against imperialism and colonization and neo-colonialism, neoliberalism. But today I want to go back to another one of our enemies in South Africa that we're fighting against, who are always accusing us of xenophobia because they want us to allow them to do whatever they want, all types of crimes in our country, and we will not allow it. They can cry, they can call us whatever they want. Ironically, though, in their own country, do you know that Nigerians are unaliving each other? There is a G-side happening in Nigeria right now as we speak. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. These Nigerians have been unaliving their fellow brothers and sisters for a long time now. And this is some type of religious battle taking place where they are genociding Christians, it seems. But these people want to come and preach to other countries about xenophobia, but look at their own country. Blood is being shed over religion. People don't have freedom in Nigeria. That's why they have to flee their country. But then when they are being accommodated by people of other countries in Africa, they cause problems. And they cause so many problems that people are now tired of them, and they're saying that they need to go back home. And, you know, Nigerians are crying that this is xenophobic and all types of things, just excuse making, because these people don't take accountability for themselves and for the countries and the reputation that they've created for themselves in other people's countries. So we're going to watch a couple of documentaries just so that I can show you guys that the same people that are crying in South Africa saying that, oh, why don't you treat your fellow brother and sister? Why don't you treat them well? Well, why don't you first start by fixing the problems in your country? Then you can talk. Because you can't have G-side in your country, right? Religious G-side. And then you come and cry to us to say, oh, this is how we must treat you. No, start with your own country. Start with your own people. Then you guys have an actual case where we can take you seriously and say, oh, okay, let's take Nigerians seriously. But you are unaliving each other. I mean, there's guys, I don't know if you understand. And if you've never been to Nigeria, you won't understand that there's terrorism in that country. And what's happening in South Africa is South Africa has opened its borders to terrorists. Hence why I tell you there's going to be a war in South Africa. It has to happen. Because you can't just open your doors to terrorists and not control your borders and think that everything will be okay in your country. These people are smuggling in. They're smuggling in not only drugs, but they're smuggling in guns and weapons. So thank you, Jolofinas, for being dumbasses and being unpatriotic, because now we're going to have multiple generations of these guys to deal with who are terrorists. Forget drug dealers. You worried about the drugs. I'm talking about the guns and the terrorism that these people are bringing into the country. You don't believe me? Don't worry. You just wait and see. But let's look at what's going on in their own country. They're unaliving their fellow brothers and sisters. Look, they're even censoring these images because they're so gruesome. This is what you guys want in South Africa. This is what you're inviting into the country. This is what you're inviting into the country. Let's watch.
Right now in Nigeria. Well, Masara Kim, a reporter for Truth Nigeria, joins us now. Well, Masara, you recently wrote an article calling this an anti-Christian pogrom. What is actually happening in Nigeria?
the simplest way to describe what is going on in Nigeria is a genocide that, just as you said, it is entirely a religious cleansing targeted at Christian communities. And this has been ongoing for several decades now without the world paying attention or at least turning a blind eye. In the last couple of days, precisely from the Sunday, the 25th, we have had ongoing relentless attacks against Christian communities approximately 55 miles south of Jos, the capital of Plateau State. And these attacks are part of a pattern, they follow a pattern of violence that has killed more than 200 Christians in the central region of Nigeria since the holy month of April. On Palm Sunday, which was April the 13th, just as Christians in the western part of Jos were settling for the evening after celebrating Palm Sunday with shouts of hallelujah. There were thunderous gunshots all over the community, and more than 55 people were massacred at an instant, and dozens of houses were burned down. And interestingly, or rather more heartbreaking, is the fact that children and women form the vast majority of the victims of these massacres.
Mm.
In one particular room, I walked into a room where I saw the bodies of 8 children from ages between 3 and 8 that were literally slaughtered. Right, they were literally slaughtered, and you could see their brains plastered
Oh,
walls, and you could see the room was entirely flooded with their blood, and I just could not imagine what manner of human being would do that, and yet the world turns to.
well, Masara, you sent me a video before we got started and again, if you're watching this and you're a little queasy, I think it's important for the world to see this. You sent us a video of basically a mass grave. What happened there? When was this?
Yeah, so I was trying to describe a situation, an incident that happened, and it's still ongoing in an area called Mushere, Mushere, located in the Bokos County, where terrorists shouting Allahu Akbar have embarked on a mission, a mass village burning mission. That these attacks started on the evening of May the 25th, on a Sunday evening, with the murder of a pastor. He was attacked in his residence and killed. His wife was injured and left for dead alongside with another resident in the house. And by the following morning, just when the survivors were being conveyed to the hospital, and the body of this pastor was also conveyed to the mortuary, these terrorists returned and killed 7 more people, right? And after the military intervened and pushed back these invaders, the following morning, while the mass burial for these 8 people, these 7 people that you saw in that video, was ongoing, these terrorists mobilized and came back again, this time around in a larger number. Residents and witnesses describe the force as more than 500. They estimated the force that attacked, the mourners to be more than 500, and they literally had to abandon the corpses on by in that mass grave, and flee for their lives before soldiers later accompanied a few people much later at night to bury them. But then it didn't stop there. By 8 p.m., I was awake up to 3 a.m. the following day, making phone calls and appealing to soldiers, persuading them to intervene, because this time around, more than 8 communities were flooded at the same time, and Christian houses and churches were set ablaze simultaneously across these communities. And those attacks, according to information reaching us, are still ongoing as we speak.
Well, Masara, we're talking about anti-Christian pogroms. We're talking about mass graves. We're talking about terrorism. We're talking about kids being killed because they're Christian. Why is no one, literally no one in the West reporting about this?
Yeah, because the Nigerian authorities, who are, by the way, Muslims, and seem to either be complicit or just turning a blind eye, um, have found a way to distort the narrative, to churn out false narratives, describing these attacks as mere clashes between sedentary farmers who are chiefly Christians and semi-nomadic cattle herders who are Muslims. And it appears that the US authorities, particularly under the previous administration of President Joe Biden, have bought into these lies and have continued to spread the lies, distorting the narrative, hiding the truth about the attacks, making the world believe that this is not a situation to be concerned about. And therefore, let's just allow them to deal with their issues. These are just clashes between different ethnic groups or people of different groups, and therefore let them deal with their problems. But again, what is going on is an agenda, a clear-cut, calculated agenda to eliminate Christians in Africa's most populous nation and impose an Islamic caliphate, a caliphate governed by extremist ideologies, governed by Sharia. And I say this confidently because I have been covering this violence for the past 15 years, and I have seen communities, Christian communities, uprooted and replaced with Muslims. And those communities are not just turned to no-go zones for Christians, but they are also converted to staging grounds for more terror attacks. I remember a particular incident. I mean, on a couple of years ago, on June the 23rd of 2018, I was attacked. My team was attacked at a location approximately 30 miles southwest of Jos, at an intersection leading to a town called Mahanga. Now, you can look that up on the internet, on Google Maps, search the town Mahanga, Mahanga. Now, that town was initially a Christian town that was attacked precisely on September 11, 2001. Now, this is a story that the world does not even know. Even the Christians and the rest of the people in the United States do not know. While Al-Qaeda terrorists were wreaking havoc in the United States, where they eventually killed more than 2,900 people in a terror attack that remains perhaps the largest and the most devastating in history, another set of terrorists, also shouting Allahu Akbar, marched to this town, which was originally known as Rankum, spelled Rankum, and killed more than 200 people and displaced the remaining residents and instantly took over the town. As we speak, that town has not just served as a staging ground for more terror attacks, but has produced more Mahangas like it. So there are more than 150 communities that have been captured by terrorists acting on the orders of their superiors, their warlords, their commanders in Mahanga, or with active collaboration of terrorists in Mahanga to capture more communities. And this is happening over and over again. So the area that has suffered the latest attacks is one of those that has managed to survive the attacks through the efforts of civilian guards, civilian volunteer guards, who, by the way, just managed to defend with makeshift weapons, chiefly homemade single-shot pipe guns and hunting rifles, which are never in any way effective to repel these attacks.
Well, Masara, your perspective is absolutely crucial. We're going to do our part to continue to tell your story. We're going to have you back on because, just being involved in this story past few months, unfortunately, tragically, news breaks every week, if not every.
Now, Nigerians will open their mouths to speak about the issues going on in South Africa. Have you heard a Nigerian talk about the genociding of Christians in their country? Don't worry, there's more. These people are so concerned with what's going on in South Africa. They are very concerned with the politics in South Africa. Look at what's going on in their country. They are genociding. They're genociding their own people, their fellow African brothers and sisters, but they're worried about what's going on in South Africa. Don't worry, I'm going to expose everything so you guys can know that while they're talking about our country, this is what's going on in their country currently, right now, as we speak. Terrorism, guys. They're G-siding, unaliving their own people. Watch. Yeah, guys. So this is what's this is what's happening in Nigeria. Well, let me put it like this. These are some of the things happening. There's many. I mean, when you see Nigerians fleeing from their country the way they are, because they're being unalived just for being a Christian, just for celebrating your religion, you are you're murdered. You know, for South Africans, these things are very hard to fathom because we think that other countries are similar to us and you know, all African, Pan Africanism, all these keywords that we like to throw around. But you guys really don't understand what's happening in some of these countries. Like I've just shown you that in Nigeria, they are literally killing, unaliving people for nothing, for no good reason. It's not like there's any kind of justification behind it that makes sense. It's just, oh, you're a Christian, so we're going to cleanse our society of you people. This is really what's going on. Nigerians will not talk about the problems and issues that they're experiencing in their countries, but they'll be very quick to criticize and judge South Africans and say we're xenophobic. But then you guys are tribalistic. You guys are killing your fellow countrymen, not just fellow African, fellow countrymen. People in your country are being massacred and unalived daily, and it's been going on for decades. You guys haven't come up with a solution for this, but you're in our business here in South Africa, telling us how we should behave, saying that we are the hallmark of xenophobia in across the continent, you know, peddling all of this propaganda to try to destroy our names as South Africans, whilst also moving to South Africa to try to exploit the opportunities that our ancestors in South Africa died for. You guys are hypocrites. Nigerians are hypocrites, guys. That's why I don't take them seriously. They have an agenda here in South Africa. They're trying to take over the country, and we cannot allow it to happen. So, as they continue to cry about xenophobia, just know in their own country, they are unaliving people for being Christians. And here's what's ironic. Now, listen to these guys, these two Nigerians talking about xenophobia in South Africa. Like, you cannot be this ignorant. And I don't believe that these guys are this ignorant. I think there's an agenda that's being pushed by Nigeria because they're jealous of South Africans. They want to get rid of black South Africans and try to replace us in our own country. And we're not going to allow it to happen. But listen to these guys talking, and you tell me, are these the type of people you would want to have in your country? They're making threats and saying they're going to continue to do whatever they want in South Africa, and there's nothing we can do about it. Same people that are practicing tribalism and genociding their own population. Listen to how they're talking, threatening South Africans. You tell me, are these the type of people you want in your country?
South Africans are not fair.
If everybody wants to go to South Africa, you see how Nigerians will flood South Africa. And if they come up with any attack,
they cannot do anything about it. If Nigerians say, oh, we are going to be traveling to South Africa, or how Nigerians are traveling to UAE, if they want to travel to South Africa the way they are traveling to UAE, they cannot do anything about it.
Nigerians, we don't come for you. We are busy going about our business. We don't come for you. An average Nigerian is looking for how to make million, drive biggest car, build mansion. That is what is in his mind. However, he's going to get it. Whenever South Africa attack us, we will forget our differences as Nigerians and face them. But Nigerians are very smart. Nigerians are very intelligent.
You know, I can count how many times there have been a xenophobic attack. This is why I said, and I'm going back to this again, because the most recent one was in 2019. This is like 3 times if I'm counting. So they are not fair. They can say whatever they want to say because Nigerians also do that. We are not innocent, but most of the thing is them starting it.
A lot of Nigerians grew up knowing xenophobic as synonymous to
I mean, these guys have got podcasts where they dedicate entire episodes to talking about South Africa and saying that South Africans are xenophobic and that they came to know about xenophobia in South Africa. And it's because Nigerian media lies to them and they try to label South Africa as this extremely xenophobic place. And yet that hasn't stopped them from flooding into the country. And when people flood into your country and they're saying that we're going to do what we do to get money and there's nothing you can do about it, these are threats. How are we supposed to respond to people that talk like this about our country? You know, Nigerians are interesting because they'll say, oh, you guys are scared of the white man. Then when we're dealing with the white man and you're seeing all types of things happening in the White House, then they say, oh, South Africans are so barbaric. You got to pick a narrative, Nigerians. You can't on one end say that we are scared of whites, and then when we deal with whites, you also now want to say, but they are also very barbaric and violent. It's a violent society. No, you can't have it both ways. You must decide what narrative you want to run with. You see that? You must pick which narrative you want to run with. You can't run with both at the same time. So it's either we're scared of white people or we're not. Because as you can see, South Africans are dealing decisively with anybody that considers themselves an enemy of our people, particularly black people. And we will not stand for disrespect. So if you want to come and find out, you can find out. If you think we're soft, we'll prove you otherwise. So don't mess with us. Don't play with South Africans. Look what's going on in your own country. You can't solve these problems. You have serious problems. You're worried about South Africa. You guys are genociding each other, your fellow African brothers and sisters. What happened to Pan-Africanism? You bloody hypocrites. You're busy trying to be a tourist attraction for terrorists in your country, while other countries are trying to be a tourist attraction for sightseeing and different things that can promote economic growth. You guys are you guys are a tourism site for terrorism. Terrorists love going to Nigeria. That's why I keep saying we should shut the Nigerian embassy in South Africa and stop them from coming into South Africa anymore, because these people are bringing terrorists into the country. They're smuggling weapons and they're bringing terrorism into South Africa. Guys, share this video with everybody that you know. Make everybody aware that this is what we're housing in South Africa. Terrorists. We are housing terrorism in South Africa because that's what Nigerians are. That's how we came to know about terrorism in Africa. We came to know about it through them. But these people want to talk about xenophobia. What you guys are doing in your country to your fellow countrymen is far worse. You're killing your fellow countrymen, let alone your brothers and sisters in Africa. I'm talking about people in your own country are being unalived by you. So don't come here and talk about xenophobia when you can't deal with terrorism in your country by your own people unaliving each other. But anyway, guys, like the video, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and hold on. I'm going to post another video shortly because I haven't posted. I'm not sure if I posted yesterday. Probably didn't. But I'm going to try. No, I'm not going to try. I'm going to do it. I'm going to post another video back to back and just, yeah, keep things going. Please share this video. You know, I'm a shadow banned, guys, because the content I talk about. You know, YouTube hates anything that goes against the status quo because, you know, all of these social media networks and sites, they're made by colonizers. So censorship is the order of the day and propaganda is the order of the day for these people. So anytime you tell the truth, they try to find a way to stop your work from going out into the world. So please, let's fight against the system and share these videos of mine with everybody that you know. Make people aware, conscientize your community, your society, your workplace, your school, and let people know the truth about what's going on. And let's stand up and fight for South Africa. We will not allow these people to take over our beautiful country that we have fought for so long for, against apartheid and now against foreign nationals trying to colonize our country. And we're very resilient people. So please, guys, let's keep fighting and let's never give up. Our land is beautiful. We have so many great things, so many great natural resources, minerals, agricultural land. We have everything in South Africa. That's why everybody's so jealous of South Africans, and everybody wants to move to our country and live in our country and experience the life. And we cannot allow them. We got to close our borders, shut down all these embassies, and only allow countries that are also committing to developing themselves. Or else we don't want to carry the baggage of the failures of your governments. You guys must go home and go fight against your governments and obtain your freedom from your governments instead of just all flooding into South Africa, because we are out of capacity now. Our country is going down now because of you guys. We've taken care of so many Africans, but when we say, guys, please, it's enough, they say I was xenophobic. Nobody cares about South Africans. So now we're not going to care about you people either. You must sort out your own problems in your own countries.